Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. As we begin, President Yoon Suk Yeol's final impeachment trial hearing continues, with the leader delivering his closing statements. To bring us the latest, we have our correspondent Oh Soo-young at the Constitutional Court. Sooyoung, there's been anticipation surrounding what the president will say. But first, walk us through what's happened so far.
Sure, Dong-min. So President Yoon's 11th and final impeachment trial hearing began at around 2 p.m. today, some 73 days after the National Assembly passed a motion to remove him from power following his December 3rd martial law order. And as the session began, justices began reviewing evidence that they haven't scrutinized yet, then gave both the National Assembly and President Yoon's legal teams 2 hours each to present their closing arguments. The National Assembly has been arguing that Yoon's declaration of martial law was illegal and his orders on December 3rd unconstitutional. The impeachment panel said Yoon's actions subvert the country's democracy and brought disruption to the constitutional order.
President Yoon lost the people's trust and declared martial law while ranting about anti-state forces. Now it's time for him to face the consequences of his delusions.
Meanwhile, Yoon's legal team has continued to insist martial law is an executive right of the president and was declared as a warning against the dominant opposition party's tyranny in parliament that paralysed government functions through around 29 impeachment attempts. His lawyers also reiterated that the National Assembly had not been shut down, supporting Yoon's claim that, quote, nothing actually happened, and continue to raise concerns over election fraud. After wrapping up the arguments, it's now time for the closing statements by the National Assembly's impeachment panel chair Chung Chung-le and President Yoon himself. Now, President Yoon has reportedly prepared a 40-minute long handwritten speech, and he's expected to reiterate that the purpose of his martial law was peaceful and that he was trying to bring about national unity. All eyes are on whether he would offer some kind of political gesture or compromise to draw public appeal.
And after today, the deliberation period begins with the verdict, likely to be delivered around March 11th.
That's right. The ruling will be drafted around 2 weeks after the final hearing date today. And before that, though, as you said, the deliberation period begins with Presiding Justice Chung Young-sik, who's going to present his review to his 7 colleagues before all 8 justices on the bench vote either for or against impeachment. And the final ruling will be drafted based on the majority opinion. If the presiding justice holds a minority view, then another justice from the majority will be assigned to draft the decision. The court will then decide the date to announce the verdict, which is again expected within 2 weeks, as you said, around mid-March. If 6 or more of the 8 justices vote in favour of impeachment, then President Yoon will be removed from office, triggering a snap presidential election within 60 days. However, if at least 3 justices oppose impeachment, the motion will be dismissed and Yoon will immediately resume his duties.
In the meantime, Sooyoung, public rallies for and against impeachment are likely to continue. What has it been like today?
Well, as much as today marks the last hearing of President Yoon's impeachment trial, the Constitutional Court, the area around it has been closed off for public safety and order, as large crowds are very much expected to be They have been crowding the court, the area around the court, and very much staying throughout. And we can even hear screams and chanting even now as we speak. And some 3,800 police officers have been installed around the area in Chungno-gu district, and that's the largest mobilization we've seen since President Yoon first started attending his hearings, around 1,000 more than the average hearing saw. Also, 190 buses have been blocking paths to the court to restrict any kind of movement coming towards the court. Around 1,500 reportedly gathered in the next street to oppose Yoon's impeachment shortly before the hearing began, and the chanting can very much still be heard from here at the court.
Right, a day full of tension indeed. Thanks, Sooyoung, for keeping us updated.